Howdy folks, Jambareeqi here, and welcome to another episode of Jambareeqi Orange, the show where I let my patrons decide what I review. The options for this month's episode included Animal Crackers, The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey, Scoob, Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, Trolls World Tour, and The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. Scooby-Doo, Shaggy, Fred, Daphne and Velma are a team of teenage mystery investigators. They're very successful, but when Simon Cowell refuses to work with them unless they ditch Shaggy and Scoob, who he calls unimportant to the dynamic, the hippie and his dog decide to cheer themselves up at the bowling alley. Suddenly Shaggy and Scoob come face to face with evil robots. They're luckily rescued by the Blue Falcon's son Brian, Dino Mutt the robotic canine, and teen angel Dee Dee, who explain that the evil Dick Dastardly needs Scooby-Doo for his next villainous plan, because Scoob is the important descendant of Alexander the Great's dog Pateras, making him the key to a special lock. Now, Scoob is meant to be a modern reboot of the Scooby-Doo franchise, a series that's rooted in 70s culture, history, design and fashion. While I'm cool with this show being given a new twist for 2020 because it's fun to keep something beloved fresh, the actual execution of the film is disappointing to say the least. This is down to how the movie doesn't know what it is or who it was made for. Whether this is due to studio control or the director's vision, I don't know, but Scoob is a film that wants to be everything at once and pull off multiple ideas at the same time. Scoob's creative decisions stem less from the best choices possible and more from whatever is trending at the time. From Simon Cowell's bizarre cameo that gives the movie an excuse to reference popular talent shows for no reason,
in the shallow, in the shallow,
to how the film's premise is jumping on the shared universe bandwagon. You see, the MCU films are the biggest blockbusters around today, and Warner Brothers haven't been shy about cashing in on that fact with its DCEU franchise. Scoob aims to tag on to the shared universe concept too by tying its narrative around iconic Hanna-Barbera characters. Which might sound cute on paper, but Scoob becomes so infatuated with its idea of a Hanna-Barbera shared universe that it ends up forgetting that it's supposed to be a Scooby-Doo mystery. Gone is the fun of working out who the villain is, because that gimmick is replaced with Dick Dastardly putting on different rubber masks to fool Mystery Inc. And no more is the movie simply about these teenagers working together as friends, the biggest appeal of the Scooby-Doo franchise, because the team have been split up so that Scooby and Shaggy can have their crossover with Blue Falcon. A plot that leads to Shaggy and Scooby having a long, mopey fallout for the first hour, because Scoob's role of importance goes to his head.
Okay, you're my best friend. At least I thought you were until you whipped off your collar.
My collar? You gave me the nod.
But I didn't think you'd really do it.
The movie is so occupied with its array of extended cartoon character cameos that the narrative ends up being overplotted and chaotic. The film darts around from one set piece to another without much direction or focus beyond let's get to the next scene somehow.
You're mine, Scooby-Doo!
Sit. Good boy. You can start screaming now.
With so much happening in the film, character arcs suffer from a lack of organic development, because the movie struggles to make time for its heroes to mature at a natural pace. And their big epiphany moments either occur way too late into the film, or are forced to happen out of dramatic contrivance.
Dude, this is it! This is my hero moment! My real hero moment!
And it's my moment too. My job is to have your back.
Yes, Scooby and Shaggy say this in the movie's finale.
Yeah, we've been through a lot.
We've grown.
But that doesn't mean that they've actually grown. Anyone can make a character say they've matured, but it takes an extra level of effort to show audiences how a character got to this point at an organic pace. Another problem is that the pacing is very poorly executed. So much of the film is filled up with very long scenes that either go nowhere or drag on forever. There's a lot of waiting involved because characters either have no idea where they're supposed to go or choose the wrong location for forced comedy.
I got a DM from one of my fans who gave me the location.
Ryan, those are a lot of words no one your age should be using.
Sir, this could be a trap set by Dastardly.
If it was a trap, why would Anonymous use his own name?
But my biggest, number one issue with this movie is that I just didn't care. It didn't get me invested enough to stay engaged throughout. I got more and more bored as the film went along. The movie opens with an origin story starring Mystery Inc.'s kids, but beyond that, in a very quick montage, we don't get to spend time with these characters as mystery solvers. It's like the film is counting on audience nostalgia to fill the gap in. But that's poor film storytelling, and not fair on those who are new to the franchise. Couple this with how the gang are divided from each other or have fallen out for most of the movie, and we end up with a much less strong relationship to get emotionally invested in. Even if you want to see this film out of nostalgia, you may feel let down, because a lot of these characters are shells of who they're supposed to be. Sure, the templates for their tropes are there, but they've been so polished up and modernized that it's kind of like they're not the same characters, to the point where Warner Brothers might as well have created new characters. Now, I'm not going to be completely harsh on this film, because the one thing I'll say is that Scoob is a funny movie. There are some solid gags here and there that got big laughs out of me.
Well, the robots attacked this talking dog and a gangly dude that had this habit of using the word like at the start of every sentence. Almost as if he was some middle-aged man's idea of how a teenage hippie talks.
Oh, that's Scoob and Shaggy, all right.
But I'll admit that the humour can be hit or miss, because not every joke lands, and there were long gaps in the film where I wasn't laughing. The style of comedy can be inconsistent too, because the film can't decide if its audience is adults who grew up with the show or very young kids who laugh at slapstick easily. The movie zigzags between two extreme styles of comedy, dry satire and goofy antics. Sure, it's completely possible to make comedy for the whole family, but Scoob does a weak job at making it natural. The more satirical jokes will go over kids' heads, while the more infantile comedy will just annoy grown-ups. So a big controversy behind this movie was its choice to recast a lot of the voices, only bringing in one voice actor from the original franchise, Frank Welker as Scooby-Doo.
Look around, man. The clean, modern aesthetic, the cool blue color palette. We're in
IKEA.
the Falcon Fury. Did you say IKEA?
Nope, I said Falcon Fury, just like you.
Now, I'm cool with recasting voice actors if you're wanting to start fresh, but I wasn't at all impressed by most of these actors. They either fail to capture the spirit of a character, or don't do enough to justify the recasting.
Huh. Trace amounts of mustache oil, 12-year-old scotch.
Ugh, is the bad guy my dad?
The only noteworthy performances come from Jason Isaacs as Dick Dastardly, and Frank Welker as Scooby-Doo.
Please, my friends call me Dick.
Okay, Rick.
No, I'm not a Rick. I'm a Dick with a D.
Rick with a D.
Da, Dick.
Well, Rick.
Dick, Dick, Dick!
This is not a bad voice cast, but you can tell that a lot of the casting was decided on a basis of name power more than suitability. It gets extra weird when we hear that Captain Caveman is being voiced by Tracy Morgan of all people, which is woefully distracting.
Leave him alone!
I love a challenge like I love dinosaur eggs. Over easy!
To conclude, Scoob is a very disjointed and misguided film. When I look back on it, all I can remember are loud noises, busy animation, and bright colours. There's just way too much going on, yet not enough content to string together a solid narrative. I really have no clue who the intended audience was either, because it's like it wants to target a bunch of specific people at the same time, but without any idea how to appeal to more than one crowd. The film's idea of modernising Scooby-Doo consists of slapping hip songs onto the soundtrack, whether they fit a scene or not, throwing in as many pop culture references as possible, and ending the film with the cliché celebration dance sequence, because the movie mistakes trend hopping for inventive updating. Scoob is certainly a colourful spectacle, and I'm sure that it entertained bored little kids stuck in quarantine, but I cannot in good faith say that this is a well-made movie. It's sluggishly paced, intensely unfocused, and lacking a confident identity. So those are my thoughts on Scoob. What do you think of the film? Let me know in the comment section below. I've been Jambareeqi and I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, then feel free to like, subscribe and share. So what am I going to be reviewing in the next episode of Jambareeqi Orange? Well, that's entirely up to my patrons. The options for next month's episode include Happy Halloween, Scooby-Doo, It Chapter 2, Doctor Sleep, The Lighthouse, Perfect Blue, Vampire Hunter D, Pretty awesome selection, am I right? Now, don't forget that you have to become a patron in order to access this poll. What is a patron? Don't worry, I'll explain.
This is my Patreon. It's a site for my fans to support me financially on through a monthly basis. Those who donate are called patrons. Patrons can donate as much as they want and are welcome to stop donating anytime. In return for their generosity, patrons are given exciting rewards based on their pledge amount. These rewards include early access to my videos before they go up publicly on YouTube, behind the scenes content, their name in the end credits of my videos, a chance to request a review of anything at all, and much more.
Very excited to find out what my patrons want me to review next on the show. Cheerio, folks.